show, your one-on-one with Wesley Sports Guy here on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and online all the time at WesleySportsGuy.com. Baseball is finally back. I'm not going to take credit for them coming back. I just am glad that they finally came to an agreement between the owners and the players. Let's get all that stupidity behind us. Let's get a season. Be on the lookout for an MLB preview at WesleySportsGuy.com. Cannot stress it enough to bookmark that site to get all the social media links, the video links that I mentioned, YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and Odyssey, and for that MLB preview coming very soon at WesleySportsGuy.com.
You play to win the game, but they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it.
In this week's episode, I'm going to go over just a little bit of what's been happening in the NFL free agency frenzy, and that's mainly at one position, and that is the quarterback carousel that we are continuing to see happen at rapid pace before our eyes. There are many teams that are still looking for a quarterback. There are still many quarterbacks available via a trade or possibly free agency, but mostly via trade now, after the biggest trade news in the last 24 hours. That I will get to shortly, but to start off this quarterback carousel, we're going to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers and just give my 2 cents about their signing with Mitchell Trubisky. They're going to go with Trubisky with an incentive-laden 2-year deal to duel it out with Mason Rudolph to be the starting quarterback for the now retired Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are now looking for a new quarterback to replace them going forward in their franchise. And I have to say right now, if you're saying that there's going to be a competition between a guy like Trubisky, who was the former number 2 overall pick for the Chicago Bears back in the day, and Mason Rudolph, who has not proven himself to be any type of a capable quarterback in the NFL through his moments in the spotlight for the said Pittsburgh Steelers, you got some problems. So if Trubisky does not win this quarterback competition outright fairly quickly for the Pittsburgh Steelers, that says all you need to know about Mitchell Trubisky, but he's getting a 2-year incentive-laden deal to try and make it stick with the Steelers to be their potential long-term replacement for Ben Roethlisberger. The next quarterback in the carousel that we have to give my 2 cents on is Russell Wilson being traded from the Seattle Seahawks to the Denver Broncos for a large package that included 3 players going from Denver to Seattle: former quarterback Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, defensive lineman Shelby Harris. But also along with that, the Denver Broncos are giving up 2 first-round picks and 2 second-round picks, along with a mid-level pick, to get Russell Wilson in Mile High City. Not bad. A lot that you gave up to get a franchise quarterback. Looking at what the Broncos were last year, basically it was just a quarterback that was missing. Not to take anything away from Teddy Bridgewater, who, before that devastating knee injury with the Minnesota Vikings, just after he got drafted as a first-round pick not too long ago, but it's getting close to a decade now since he was drafted, he has not been the same quarterback. Drew Lock is not the answer for Denver either. That's been apparent since he was now a former second-round pick of theirs, and they had to get out and get a franchise quarterback, and that's Russell Wilson, a.k.a. just like what they did with Peyton Manning. I'm not saying this is going to result in a Super Bowl title for Denver, not by any stretch of the imagination, with any of the other teams that have been doing what they've been doing lately in the AFC West, namely the Raiders. The Chiefs have kind of dabbled in a few things, but they're still the Chiefs, and the Chargers stacking both sides of the ball, including on defense, especially in this free agent frenzy. But focusing on quarterback, Russell Wilson, he is the key to getting Denver back to playoff contention consistently. He will be the answer to that. Does it get any further than that? We shall see how that goes out in a very tough, what looks like to be the best division in the NFL on paper right now, going into next season, the AFC West. The next quarterback I'm going to focus on now is Carson Wentz, going from the 1-year stint in the Indianapolis Colts organization to now the Washington Commanders. They have a new nickname, so I will call them the Commanders. If you want to call them the Commies, as a lot of people have already made fun of, that's fine by me too, because in all honesty, they should have stayed the Redskins. But I digress. This is about the football team. Carson Wentz, is he going to be the answer for the Washington Commanders? Or is it just going to be the same old story with this franchise of they can't find a quarterback again and again and again and again? The possibilities have been endless for them, it seems, in especially the owner Daniel Snyder's tenure for this franchise. But we'll see with Carson Wentz. They've taken on the remainder of what's a large contract in this trade, so that helps the Colts with the cap situation. Plus, the Colts now have many still options to choose from as far as trading for a quarterback potentially. Just a couple names to throw out there. You got Baker Mayfield now for the Cleveland Browns, which I'll get to in just a moment, and also Jimmy Garoppolo from said 49ers. He's still available via trade, so the Colts still have their options, but getting rid of Carson Wentz was the right move because they should have won that last game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Didn't happen. Not all of it falls on Carson Wentz's shoulders, but he was just a matter of inconsistent play the entire year for the Colts. He needs a new fresh face. And hey, on the bright side, he gets to play his former team, the Philadelphia Eagles, now twice a year for the Commanders coming in the 2022 to 23 season for the NFL. Real quick, for the two old, you could say, not senior citizens in the NFL in terms of quarterbacks, but Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in Green Bay. He got paid a lot of money. Granted, it's all with cap situations and stuff like that. A lot of it's guaranteed, obviously, but Aaron Rodgers staying in Green Bay. He's staying for the long haul. He's not going to have Devontae Adams with him anymore, but it's still Aaron Rodgers. He's had less before, and he's done amazing things with it. Whether or not it translates in January, potentially February without Devontae Adams, it remains to be seen, and it also puts more pressure on the now, or still the current head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur. You're going to have to change some things up now that you don't have that safety net and Devontae Adams for Rodgers to throw to. And Tom Brady did not shock myself and many others, but apparently he did surprise some by saying, nah, forget that retirement. I'm coming back. I'm going to play for Tampa Bay for another season. Let's get this going. Chris Godwin's coming back. They still have Mike Evans. The defense is going to get revamped a little bit. Tom Brady is still going to be Tom Brady. He was the second in MVP voting last year to, as I mentioned, Aaron Rodgers. It's Tom Brady. He wasn't going to leave like this. He's going to go out in a completely different fashion. Maybe he could win another Super Bowl. We'll see. The NFC is definitely weaker on paper than it is in the AFC right now. So we'll see how this plays out for Tom Brady to finish out his career in Tampa Bay for at least one more season. And I teased it. This is it. This is the moment. The biggest trade so far in this quarterback carousel. Deshaun Watson, after not playing the entire year last year due to off-field proprieties with alleged crimes that did not warrant a grand jury to try to file any charges against him for alleged crimes, but he still has civil lawsuits coming of almost 24 women accusing him of such things that I will not get into. That's off-field stuff. It's civil. He's probably going to get suspended if we're going to go down that road. But the Cleveland Browns decided to put all their chips in. They traded away 3 first-round picks to get Deshaun Watson from the Houston Texans. He is now the quarterback. Forget Baker Mayfield. It's all in on Deshaun Watson. He did not play at all last year. It's not going to really hinder him a whole lot in my thinking, but this is definitely a better team on paper that he's coming into than he was leaving with the Houston Texans, with the clearing out of that roster that they did last year. They're still doing it this year. Whatever happens with Houston, their chips are looking like they're going to be in temporarily for Davis Mills, who was their 3rd-round pick last year. He looked pretty good at times for them in a few games for the Texans, but going to Deshaun Watson, he's got a lot more to work with in Cleveland. They still have Nick Chubb, one of the best running backs in the NFL right now. They did bring in Amari Cooper in a trade from the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys couldn't afford to keep him much longer, so they had to unload him. They got him in a trade. Didn't give up much in draft capital. And they also have David Njoku, they franchise tag. The defense is still pretty good. Good depth all the way around. This is just another tease probably, though, for the Browns franchise to say, are they good enough to get a playoff spot? I don't know. I don't know if this is just another tease with them to say, hey, they're definitely a playoff team, but they're in a stacked AFC still. Granted, their division is not as tough as, let's just say, the AFC West on paper, but you still have the defending AFC champion Bengals in your division. The Ravens are still going to be there. The Steelers might surprise you, but in terms of hierarchy in that division, I'd have Cleveland ahead of Pittsburgh right now, based off of the offensive line play from the two teams. Pittsburgh's was worse last year. But if you get a guy like Deshaun Watson, you're going all in. You're going for that playoff or bust mentality and potentially a Super Bowl. Not saying that's going to happen. A lot more needs to play out with this going forward. But as it is right now, Cleveland says, screw it, we're going for it. They know they messed up with Baker Mayfield in this process by making this kind of a trade, so it's going to be interesting to see where Baker ends up, whether it be Indy or somewhere else. But hey, the options are almost endless in the way this free agent frenzy is going with the quarterback carousel specifically. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe and hit that bell below to get notified when all the latest videos are posted here on this channel, whether it be at YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, or Odyssey. Make sure you bookmark westthesportsguy.com for that MLB preview. It'll be coming down the pipe here shortly by the end of this month before opening day happens on April 7th. And I will see you next time.